It is Thursday, March the 27th. Here we are.
Transitory.
God!
Transitory.
Say the word.
Transitory.
It has crept back into our lexicon. Jerome Powell the other day brought back transitory.
The slowdown. It's the slowdown, the economic slowdown. The fourth quarter last year, the first quarter this year, to second quarter, maybe through this year and the next year is going to be a transitory slowdown. You know, that's
That word should be taken from the English language.
You know, when you hear that, we laughed and we're having a little fun because that's what you got to do. It's like when you see a vampire. You got to throw some holy water or get the cross out to that word. That's not a good word to use.
No,
it brings back bad memories.
No, if you remember, the Fed used the word about inflation being transitory, and as we all know, that was not transitory inflation that we just endured for the last 4 years.
Let me tell you what, in our opinion, is creating some opportunity. The big tariff unknown of what's going to happen next week, April the 2nd, and reciprocal tariffs. We can't tell you what's going to happen except
because
April
day to day.
Yeah.
Because it's like the weather in certain cities. If you don't like it, just wait about 15 minutes and it'll change. That's sort of what's going on with tariffs.
That's an unknown. Inflation, whether inflation's going to come up and is going to have to bring the Fed back in, is on the mind of the economy right now. Jobs and what happens from jobs, job creation or job layoffs is an unknown. And then you also have
the cost cutting that's going on in D.C. is also a driver. It's a news driver. It has an impact on markets somewhat minimally, but I think you and I both would agree that's one of the most important things that needs to be tackled for the future health of this country.
Yeah, we could spend a show on why that elephant in the room. We talked about it here just a moment ago on the radio, that it is almost like the riptide you hear your parents talk about at the beach. Be careful because a riptide could grab you and just suck you out.
Undertow, take you out.
We'll never see you again.
Yeah.
So and that undertow, that elephant in the room, is the deficit and having to get hold of that. So we 5 or 6 things we have just said that's creating uncertainty in room. That's what's happening. That's what's happening in the market. But you know what it's doing? It's beginning to create, we think, buying opportunities.
I think it is, and it's sort of like a process of elimination. We're starting to eliminate things that are causing strife in the markets.
Right.
What I mean by that is we're going to be on the other side of tariffs, whether they're good or bad, but we're going to be on the other side of those probably by the end of April. Right. And we'll have some knowledge of what the impact is going to be, whether it be positive or negative. But I do think that short period of time, we'll have a better indication what markets look like for the remainder of the year.
We can tell you things are on sale. We can tell you we have the buying list ready to go. We've gotten through the first quarter. Remember what we said in December and January? Give us the first quarter to see what the new administration was going to do.
Yes.
Now, we know what we are dealing with. Now we're saying, we think that things are going to begin to be shown what to buy and what to avoid, and that's where we are at this point in time. We're kind of excited about it because things are on sale, and we want to thank y'all. Y'all have hung in there with us. You do what you need to do. You're educated. You work with us, and we appreciate it. But we're exactly where we want to be at this point.
Yeah, we have optimism on the second half of this year.
Right.
So I would hope that markets would continue to buoy that optimism, and I think it will.
All right. If you have any questions, you give us a phone call here. Please, we'll sit down with you. We'll Zoom with you. We'll have a conversation on the telephone. We do this because we know it's important to you, but most of all, it is your money.
And your money matters.
See you next week.
Talk to you next week.